Feels like I never left.
Oh, sorry I made you do that alone.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
No, they were wonderful though. People were wonderful. They really were.
Yeah, you missed out.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone. Last panel?
Last
Is it
panel of
last?
adventure.
Wow.
Yes.
So, if you could gain 3 characteristics you don't possess, which 3 would you like?
Predicting the future. Being able to immediately establish within a person the biggest struggle that they're dealing with in their life.
So these can be supernatural powers. Is that what you're saying?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Oh, the ability to fly. That'd be sick. I'm like, Gillies, I'm going to Paris.
Wait, I'll come with you. I can turn invisible. I have to move at normal speed. I'm invisible. Moving at normal speed.
Where is Daniel? He still hasn't arrived.
I didn't have your power.
I would like to have the power when anyone is like trying to get you down to like have the perfect response. Because you know when sometimes people are like rude or mean or trying to like rain on your parade, you think of it way after what you should have said. You're like, oh man, that would have been perfect. But with kindness, like the perfect response to change that person from being.
I think I have that gift. Gillies, say something
We all
horrible
know
to
you
me.
think you have that gift.
Gillies, say something horrible to me. Do your worst.
No, I can't say anything horrible to you. This is awful.
It's just an exercise. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm not going to say actually anything truly awful.
I mean, you can if you want.
No, but it's going to be.
I mean, I'll cry for 10 minutes and I'll come back. It's fine.
I don't want to say anything mean to.
Okay.
This is really.
No,
This
it's
is
like a puppy.
Riley, hit me.
You make me sick.
I love you and I'm going to let you...
Every time you open your mouth.
Oh geez, so here it comes. Now, yeah, she's just getting started now.
Is that your response?
My mouth only wants to offer you blessings and peace.
Look at that, beautiful.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. You do have the power.
3 characteristics I wish I could have. I wish I'd be more patient. I do wish I was like a little bit more patient. I wish I was able to be more present, like be more in the moment rather than thinking in the future all the time. I just be exactly where I am. And I
Use one more P.
patient, present, perverted. I want to be more perverted.
You are very perverted. That's fair. Gotta work on that.
Also, just I think not being afraid would be really nice. Not that fear is sometimes a good thing, but I think not being afraid and, like you said, living in the moment, being grateful, and just being able to like, it'd be cool if you could just like have the power to spread love and stop all of the nonsense that's going on. That would be good. We went on a tangent, or I went on a tangent, I'm sorry.
Go on a weird tangent.
So I wanted to know, as you are all people I look up to and respect, I wanted to know what are the charity you're supporting so that I could give more to people to help.
Yeah, I support an organisation called Preemptive Love, which deals with bringing emergency aid to people fleeing ISIS areas or been affected by the war in Syria and Iraq. They do incredible work. What makes them different to a lot of organisations like Oxfam or the people that go out to the Middle East is that they go into the situations where there's the most need, but often those places are the most dangerous. So when Mosul finally became free of ISIS, they were the first ones in. They were the ones that turned the water back on for a lot of the people. They bring emergency food, and obviously sometimes they put their personnel at great risk to do that. But they do amazing things, and that's where the need is. So often these big organisations that go and say, we're helping children in this place, and we're going to Syria, we're going to Iraq, they only go to the safe zone, and the people have to make their way down there, and that's not where the need is. So this organisation is incredible because they go to where the need is. They don't wait for the need to come to them.
Yeah, so I mean, he mentioned Oxfam, and I worked with Oxfam last year, and I always try and give them a plug. I think the refugee crisis is one of the biggest issues we're facing in the world right now. I mean, there's so many displaced people. I really want to try and draw as much attention as I can to what's going on in South Sudan. Like, there are just people fleeing there by the tens of thousands every week, you know. And I mean, there's almost nobody left now because of this. I've got to be careful about my language, but it really is sort of an ethnic war there between tribes, you know. It's just so incredibly dangerous, and Uganda's been incredibly generous about opening their arms to the South Sudanese and giving them sort of refugee camps, but Uganda's also one of the poorest countries in the world, and I would love, anytime you can tweet or Instagram anything about the displacement of these refugees, it creates awareness and might someday bring the international community to actually take some sort of action towards helping these people who are just devastated.
Hello guys. So I always find that there were like unique names, character names in the show, like both TVDs and the originals. And actually, the sister of a friend of mine is expecting a baby boy, and she's going to call him Elijah. So I wanted to ask you, both of you, all of you, if you had to pick a name for a boy and a girl from the shows, from your own child, which ones would you choose?
I like the name Tristan, even though he was a villain. I really like that name for a boy. And for a girl, I like Haley.
My brother's son is actually called Finn. He's got a son called Finn, spelled the same way. I like the name Cole too. I like K-O-L.
I like the name.
I like Cole as well. For a boy, for a girl,
Katerina?
oh goodness me, no. No.
Some girl that's name's Katerina just gone.
It's not that it's not a beautiful name. It's just I don't think I'd make that fly in our house. Because you're always looking to abbreviate, you know, and I mean, I guess it would be Cat, but I'd be calling my daughter Cat. It get confusing with my actual cats.
Where's Cat? Which cat? The cat.
I'll come back to you on the girl name. Do you like any names?
None of the names from the show I would ever use. I don't know. I'm going to go biblical names, so sorry. I just can't help
Well,
myself.
Elijah's a biblical name.
Bloody Elijah was a prophet like no other man. You know the story of Elijah? I can't help myself. Man, I'll tell you one day if you want to know about it.
No, I know about Elijah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So important question. Pineapple on pizza.
Are you saying that everybody else's questions were not important?
No, but it's fine.
That's
But you'll-
pretty offensive, if I'm honest with you.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
No. Absolutely not.
It depends
I
what
love
type of
anything on
pizza. Like,
pizza.
if it's a Hawaiian,
Yeah.
I really dig it.
Ham and
But if
pineapple?
you're putting a pineapple on like a basil and cheese, get out of here. But if it's a ham and I don't mind it on a Hawaiian.
I love pineapple on pizza, but
Yeah.
I know, not always. It's not my favorite, but I love anything on pizza. I just love pizza. Did I mention that I love pizza?
Chili the shoe on a pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true.
Daniel, do you remember the sentence in Croatian?
Man. Say something to me.
Skinny gracias.
Šute magarac.
Šute magarac. Ajde.
Šute magarac.
Brzo.
I'm amazed that I remembered that.
Skinny gracias. Take your pants off.
Sure. I mean, no. I definitely won't.
I was wondering, it's for Nate and Daniel, could you play each other's roles for a bit?
No. No. But, no. No.
He said no.
Okay, thank you.
But good question, thank you. That's a good question. We should do that in Barcelona.
Yeah, we'll make a video someday of us playing each other's roles.
Sorry. Oh,
That'd be
bye-bye.
great. Wow.
Yes, I brought, okay, so I didn't have time to memorize it, however, I brought one. I brought one. I'm probably gonna butcher it because it's been a long time since I said it. Let's see. Okay. On luganet permite ponos tiam vacíos y en vida. And that means unlock and allow my entrance, empty his life. You're welcome. I'm sorry I didn't memorize it, but I did it. I promise. Thank you.
It's great.
Okay, first I'm going to say something to Nate. I'm going to say you have to watch The Lost Wife of Robert Durst, and then you have to learn to do an impersonation of that one instead of Elijah.
Who am I doing an impersonation of?
The Lost Wife of Robert Durst. I think Mr. Gillies can tell you about it.
Do you? Is this is it the Lifetime movie? Oh, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. And I'm gonna impersonate that.
Next year.
Next year, here, on this stage, if I get invited back.
And then I have a question for Riley and Nate, because Daniel refused to answer me last night. I'm gonna ask her for my friend here. She also wondered, do you guys know what the G in Daniel's middle name is?
The J.
J.
No.
I do.
Do you?
Jackson.
No.
Jacqueline. Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
It's actually Jennifer. It's Jennifer. It's my second name.
Daniel Jennifer Gillies.
Daniel Jennifer Gillies.
The parents didn't know.
They
were
don't
like,
know.
oh,
It's a very masculine name in New Zealand, so don't mock me.
Jennifer, yeah. Call him Jen for short.
Oh, I'm so curious now. What is it?
Never even knew that he had a J.
He doesn't know.
This is all news to me. No one knows my middle name.
You would know if you tweet more. It's in his Twitter name.
Ooh.
It is.
Let's go, I'll tell you, you're a private detective. If the FBI doesn't get you in the next 2 years and work for them, I don't know what they're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, you too.
Sweet. You know, just so you guys, we were in the escape room on Friday night, me and that little one, and we got out with 21 seconds to go. Took us 59 minutes and whatever seconds, minus 21. Maths was not my strength, okay? Don't judge me.
Hey guys.
Hey, bud.
So my question is like, you guys are like middle-aged people. Like, I'm not saying you're old, but sorry, but
Never begin a sentence with, I'm not saying you guys are old, but... ... Jesus! No, I don't mean it respectfully.
It's related to my question. Sorry. Because you're well experienced and
Well experienced.
Digging, yes.
So if someone would make your life as a movie, who would play you? Which actor?
Well, according to you, Kirk Douglas. Gene Hackman? I don't know, man. How old am I? Barbara Streisand?
Yep, that sounds accurate.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep, of course.
Who would play me?
Play me.
I feel like the only person I trust with a performance of my life, if someone was going to do it, was...
It's already funny, I just said it.
The only person that I would trust to do a performance of my life, if it was a movie, and they put $150 million into it, would be Daniel Gillies.
I already said Daniel Gillies.
No.
Huh?
I already said Daniel Gillies.
He can't play
signed
you.
my contract.
I
He
thought
can, he looks great in
he's not as
blonde.
good as me as an actor, but I'd ask Mark Wahlberg to play me just so I could look jacked. I just want to be jacked for once. I want people to go, man, I didn't realize Daniel was so big in his
Yeah.
life, but
Look,
so,
yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, look, Brad Pitt would have to play me
Yeah,
just
it's
because
true.
of the similarity in our looks. You know.
How about you? Charlize Theron.
I was gonna say, but
Charlize
I'd
Theron.
be so lucky for her
Yeah.
to be considered.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do
Charlie's
love
got a
her.
few years on
I
you.
do love her.
Charlize
No,
Theron.
no, I'm older. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
She's not quite middle aged.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you want to bring us some blankets and slippers? Anyway, a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Put on some old episodes of Matlock. Unbelievable.
No, it's
We're
fine.
totally
No,
kidding.
we get it.
It's so
We
fun.
love
We're
you, man. Thank
joking.
you.
We love
We're
it.
great. We're great.
Thank you.
so much.
But you know what? It's getting late, so you should get back home.
Yeah. We should probably like
Is there a scene
Exactly.
Thank you, child. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Plus, we get into the movies for cheap down the road because we're over
It's almost
60.
bedtime, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back.
My front. I gotta empty my diaper pretty soon. Yeah.
I just stopped emptying mine. What's the
That's
point?
it. What's the
okay.
point? It's done. Alright, it's okay.
Again.
Hi.
I want to ask Bradley if she remembers the word I pronounced, the biggest one.
Yes.
45 letters.
I do. I've been practicing. It's Shina Buddha La Buddha BBB Bob Shana.
No.
Perfect. Nailed it. Nailed it. I'm sorry, say it one more time. Guys, do you know this is a real English, excuse yourselves. Did you realize that this is a real English word? It's one of the longest English, or it is the longest English
I
word.
think that's the longest.
Listen to
45
it.
letters.
No, but listen to it. This is a real English word. No,
And
it's
Next,
not.
next to my middle name, which begins with J, which has 56
Maybe this is
letters.
your middle name.
Anyways, my middle name begins with J.
And it's in my poem.
It's in her poem. She
Oh, I
does
love
poems with the longest words in the English dictionary. But say the longest word.
Okay. Ila gofu shiro hipapa kanurias.
That is a real English word.
She just made that up.
No.
No.
And it's a synonym for good.
Yes.
Say it again.
Ila gofu shiro hipapa kanurias.
She just made that up.
No, you can't Google.
Hey, I can do the same thing.
It sounds like
Mia,
the bird.
hama, lula, kuna, mina, tuna,
Sounds like a
china.
chant. That sounds like one of
There's
Freya's
no way
chants.
that's real.
Mila
Ila,
Kunis,
gala,
Mark
gala,
Wahlberg, and then
I really Googled
The longest
words
sentence
in
is
English.
synonym for good.
So, you know the funny thing is you'd say that, someone's like, how's your day? You're like, say it?
How's your day?
Ila gofu
Sorry, I
shiro.
gotta go. Sorry. I've been here for an hour. I can't wait for you to tell me it's good. Here's a suggestion, just say good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and a question. I have a very serious question. There is a lot of rage in the political news, confrontation between America and Russia. And the border between America and Russia goes in my family because my mother watches on Russian news and my sister lives in America and she watches American news. Do you know some ways to stop this rage before it destroys all the world?
Wish I.
I think
I feel really sorry for Americans and for Russians for not being friends.
yeah, it's not just Americans and Russians. If you actually look all around the world, it's people. It's people. If I asked every single person in this room, what kind of world would you want to live in? We would all probably unanimously agree a world without hate, a world without betrayal, envy, jealousy, like evil, right? We'd all agree that we want to remove evil, right?
Is there a dog?
I think it's you, Daniel.
It is a dog.
That's okay. Yeah. No, it's poetic. It's poetic. So, we would all agree that we want to live in a world without that. But, where does that start?
From family.
No. It goes even simpler. It starts in here, right? So, it's like the world, we want to live in a world without sin, but we're not willing to let the sin in our own heart be taken away from us. You know, and in order for God to remove sin from the world, He has to remove sin from our heart first. It's like a doctor saying, hey, I've got to take out your appendix, and the person says, that's absolutely fine, but don't touch me. Right? It's the world, it's the brokenness of man. As sad as this statement is, this is a statement of truth. Until we realize that we are capable of ruling underneath ourselves, we'll always be like this. There'll always be war, there'll always be destruction, there'll always be greed. But it's just proving the fact that if we don't follow God's will for our life, that we're always going to be broken. And my evidence for this case is look at the world today. Turn on the news for 15 minutes. So, is there a solution? Yes, there is. Will people accept it? Absolutely not, because God's been telling us that story for 4,000 years, and we still don't listen.
Well, and it's been happening within the countries, not just country against country, too. You know, if you look in your own backyard, it happens every day, you know, people just not being kind to each other. And so, like Nathaniel was saying, I think it just starts with each one of us doing our best to love and accept and spread that.
How? Because when I, for example, I talk with Estonians, I'm Russian, and when talking Estonians, they're all nice people, but it is official policy to divide Estonians and Russians in the country.
Yeah, we can't always, you know, change the world, even though we want to, I think. Yeah. I think it's...
Here's a solution. When the world learns to love their enemies, the world will be a different place.
If there will be any survivors.
Can you love your enemy?
I don't know.
It's a hard question.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The answer is probably most people will say no. But that's human nature.
Which is weird, because the first thing we saw was Elijah choking off someone's head.
That is true. So there's something very wrong with you.
I know. But there's one thing. This whole Mikaelson family lives by this codex, this always and forever thing. But then I just don't get it. Klaus daggered his siblings, but not all at once. Like Elijah was by his side when Rebecca was daggered, and Cole was daggered, and I mean Finn was daggered for 900 years. But nobody they wouldn't help each other with that. They wouldn't undagger each other. So was it for Elijah? Was it really this always and forever family, or was it always and forever trying to fix Klaus?
Let me stop you right there. And I'm definitely not comparing myself to Einstein here, but he's one of my great heroes. But he once said this famous quote of like, whatever you believe that your problems with mathematics might be, believe me, mine are far greater. To that, I want to superimpose that onto us trying to figure out our own scripts. Whatever your problems are with the narratives within our story, believe me, ours were much greater. Like there were things in there were ideas and loopholes that we just couldn't figure out. Now look, the writers, in their defense, they had an enormous amount of mythology to try and navigate and to coalesce and to sort of bend and twist and make sort of sense out of. But they had, in the end, they had this gigantic equation, and there are just certain areas that we simply cannot answer. Like the fin of it all. Like I mean, somebody could write a university paper on the hypocrisy of family and always and forever, based on just Finn, alone. It's. We don't know how to answer that. We can only speculate like you. You probably know more than we do.
We said on set a lot, we would just go, because sometimes we would also have like questions and we'd be like, but this isn't, and then we just always said, there's always a loophole. Like, meaning that was kind of a common saying on our show.
The show went on for 5 years, so of course.
Yeah, there's always a loophole. There's always some explanation deep down for why, but I understand that it can be.
And sometimes they've just overlooked things.
Yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
Sometimes they'd simply overlooked an idea like Finn, and it became like, okay, how do we even answer that or address that?
Do you think that Klaus was in some ways more important to Elijah than the other siblings?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's his devotion to him was kind of a disease.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thanks to all of you, and thank you, Danielle, for everything and
Thank
for
you.
making me smile and making me happy today.
Thank you so much for turning up. Thank you for being here. Me too.
Hey, I just wanted to know, what's the funniest prank you someone did on you, or like you did on someone else?
We always dread this question because none of us have a good answer for this.
I did tell a story though about you and Joseph. I used one, which I actually wasn't there for, but as far as the car, like the first space of the parking was Joseph's, and then the one over was Daniel's. And when I first got on the show, I parked right in the first one, and didn't realize that there was kind of a thing with that. And I believe, was it Joseph that put a picture of him holding his Teen Choice Award on your parking space?
Yeah, Joseph put a picture of himself holding a Teen Choice Award in my parking space.
And then you tried to park.
And then I moved a no parking sign. I dragged one out of the ground and hammered one into the ground and right in front of his parking space.
And then didn't you park right behind him and accidentally hit his car a little bit?
So you just gave away the
Sorry.
punchline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus. So and then I parked diagonally. No, I parked diagonally across his park one time, taking up both my space and his space. Then he threw a whole lot of trash across like my space one day, so I couldn't get in. And then one day I came in and I was like, all right. He had parked in my space, and I thought, I'm just going to park so close to his car that he can't possibly get in. And I parked so close that I scratched his end of my car. That's called when pranks go too far. It was a dark day, and it cost me $600. And the valuable lesson here is, I don't want to tell the story ever again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, since you have been to many countries, is there one country you love to go? A special one?
That's a lovely question.
I said there's so many I was talking about today. Germany, Italy, yes, Switzerland. I mean, there's so many places I haven't been. I've been to so little that it's a hard question. I really want to go to Japan. I'd be grateful to go anywhere new. Honestly, I know that's kind of a cheap answer, but I
want to get out of here.
I just want to get the hell out. No, I love going to see new cultures and meeting new people. Yeah.
I would love to go to Morocco. I've never been. I actually would love to go to Nate's homeland, to Croatia, I think, as well. I would love.
Hrvatska moja domovina.
Look at that. Should take my guys. It's a winner. So I would also, what was I thinking before? Oh, Greece. My wife really wants to go to the Greek islands, and I've never been to the Greek islands. I would love to go there.
Is it a country I want to go to, or just a country I really like?
Yeah, you want to go to.
No, Iceland. I'd like to see Iceland so I can see the Northern Lights and, see how a population of 300,000 people could make it into the World Cup and successfully do well. It's really impressive. Like, maybe the water is like, I don't know, something's in the water in Iceland. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what I find weird? They call Iceland, and Greenland, Greenland.
And it's
Greenland's
the
more
opposite.
icy than Iceland, and
And it's
Iceland's
more
more green than Greenland.
I've always thought that.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's really strange.
Super weird.
I'm like, there's a conspiracy somewhere there.
Hi.
This question is to Daniel, from my friend Diana.
Hi, Diana. Wherever you are. Where is she?
Germany.
Okay, why couldn't she come?
It's expensive.
I understand.
It's a very good answer.
Is that euphemistically that I wasn't important enough to her? That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. No, come on. Hey, let's be real in here. This is a real tank. It's not an escape room now. Or is it? Because I might have the answer.
You play in the originals The Good Brother. Was this hard for you?
Yeah, I don't know.
And extra, can you say
mouth when you're talking to her.
Shoot the violence.
Can you say this Diana on my phone?
Do you want to like record a normal voice?
Sure. Could you mind if we do it?
Right. Maybe you should bring up the fact that she didn't want to invest the money into meeting you in person, Daniel.
Okay, so am I recording now? Diana, why weren't you here? Clearly you're not committed to me as you thought you might be. Your friend just told me to shush. I'm standing here seething with resentment, but I love you anyway. This is the kind of guy I am, and the kind of friend your friend isn't.
And hey, just a little cap off. I wasn't really mentioned, and I don't know if you've really watched the originals, but I'm also in it. My name's Daniel Buzolic, and I play Cole. If Daniel has disappointed you with this voicemail message, I'm always opening to accepting new fans, so please let me know. My Instagram is @buzz.
One word.
Give me a short question, I'll give you a short answer.
Okay, we all learned from Mr. Fox party yesterday. What is the first word that comes to your mind if you think of the German table? One word.
If you think of the German table?
Yeah, the German table.
Germans.
The German table. There's a table of all German.
Yes, I see.
Excellent
skin.
What
I can't use too much word. It's true, like, luminescent.
That's good.
See Germans.
I'm trying to think of the right word, which would just be, I guess, connected, because I'm German and I want to go, and we talked a lot about that.
One word.
Connected. That's not the right word, but I can't think of it right now.
Good word. It's a good
Thank
word.
you.
It's a good word.
Thank you.
Did you have a word, Nathaniel?
I said Germans. They said first
You
word.
said connected, wasn't? Honestly.
Unbelievable.
Hi. I first want to thank you all, and especially Nathaniel, for all what you did this weekend. Sorry, guys. I hope you really, and I am going to read the Bible thanks to you. And my question is, if it was your last day to live, what would you do?
If it was my last day?
All of you.
Okay. Is this the last question, or we got more?
No, we still have more time, don't worry. If anybody has more questions, we still have time for a couple more questions.
I got an answer. Our world today has this really crazy thing where we have to save money, and you see all these really, really wealthy people in life that save so much money and they keep it in their bank account and they amass wealth and they keep amassing wealth, and then these people die and there's millions of dollars that just sit in their bank account that never got used, never got spent, and it kind of goes to waste. And I like to think about this bank account idea, and I say, we all have an opportunity to love people in life, and we have a bank account that we keep for ourselves, which is full of the love that we have, whether we give it to others or we give it to ourselves, right? Or we keep on, hold on to it, and we're like keeping it, right? For maybe the day where we might need it. By the end of my life, I want to make sure that my bank account that holds the love that I have is empty, so I have nothing left. Because I don't want to be like the people that said, oh, I've got to keep this love, and I've got to save it for maybe the day where I might need it. I think it's better to live a life where you just give everything away so there's nothing in the bank account, and I want to be empty. So on my last day, I hope I have no more love to give because I've given it all away.
That is really hard to follow. So I'm going to say I'd do the exact same thing while eating pizza, drinking wine,
With pineapple on
and
it.
listening to bad 90s music.
Yeah, I just want to be somewhere with my my wife and kids. My daughter loves this. If I could really design the last day, my daughter loves this beach in. It's in St. Thomas, and it's called Galleon Beach, and it's just this beach. I know that she loves that place more than anywhere in the world, and I just love to watch my kids play in the blue water there and drink cocktails and eat Hawaiian pizza with pineapple.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Family,
then in the
for
meeting room, you said something about loving your enemy, but how is that possible if you confuse them, but they will come say something back? What do you do then?
What do you do then when they say something back?
Yeah.
You do the same thing that you were supposed to do the first time, love them. It's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy to love your enemy. It's absolutely not. But everybody can love their friend. It's not a great achievement to love your friend or love someone that loves you, right? But then again, love isn't necessarily the thing where it's good for me, good for you. The true definition of love is when I sacrifice something of myself for the benefit of someone else. And when someone hates you and you're still able to love them, it's the only real way to break down that wall. Because if someone slapped me in my face, my first reaction is to slap them back. That's my human nature. Don't slap me, I'll slap you. I've got to defend myself, right? But if someone slapped me in the face and I came back with them with like a gesture of love, where do they go from there? Do they slap me again? Maybe.
Oh, and I think...
And I'm saying it's not easy to do, but I'm saying that is the purest form of love. And if we can learn to love the people, if you can learn to love your enemy, just imagine how much you'd love your friends.
For sure, and I think there's power in silence. I think sometimes silence is looked at as weakness, but when people go to that level, sometimes just being silent. And I once talked to this older man on an airplane, and I was listening to his stories, and he kind of said, you know, when I show kindness and people don't show it back, he just goes, okay. And it's so simple, but it's just like okay. And that's okay. But there's like power in that, you know, and sometimes if you can't find the right words, because I agree, sometimes I don't want to let anyone walk all over me or anything like that, and you want to go back, but the best sometimes defense and the strongest defense is silence or just being like, okay.
Thank you. Hope to see you all next year. Bye.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. Would you say that you're as good in Tetris as the rumors say?
Can you say that again, sweetheart?
You good in Tetris?
Yeah, I'm very good. Yeah.
Extreme.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I'm really good at Tetris. It's a weird skill to have. I only, like, you know, it's typically traditional Tetris is level 0 to 16. I'll only play level 16. Like, that's how fast my brain is at making those shapes. I'll show you, I'm a freak. Like, it's nutty. Like, I don't know why.
I want to see this.
It's not a useful skill to have.
It's impressive.
Although I'm very good at packing suitcases in the cars very quickly.
You do it practically as well.
That's really manly. Yeah, it is true.
That's awesome. And can you confirm that you have this awesome skin routine you talked about in Prune magazine?
Oh yeah, that was just me. That was me being silly. This is my microphone.
Yeah, I thought that, yes.
No, I'm not. Can I answer?
Yes.
Hi, honey. Hi, sweetheart. Can you hear me? Why are you in the dark?
To pay the electricity bill, didn't you?
Can you hear me? I think I've got no. Sorry. This is so rude. I thought I might be able to.
Oh, it says reconnecting. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Sorry. I thought that might be fun.
That would be fun.
It would have been great.
I'll try again.
We'll answer another question.
Sure. Let's
I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you for an amazing week.
Thank you for an amazing week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's have a short, quick question. I don't think you guys will all be able to, so. But no, you can still stay, but I don't think so.
Hi. I wanted to ask you, I don't know, I know Nathan and Daniel have tattoos. What do they mean? And Riley, I don't know if you have tattoos, and what would you choose as a tattoo if you could?
I don't have any tattoos, but I have always wanted one, yes. And there were several I wanted since I was young, and I kept waiting because I wanted to be sure. So it's gone down to I want one at some point in my life, and I want it to be small and meaningful, and there's a couple things I'm deciding between that I'll wait to say once I decide what it is, but I do want one, but I don't have any.
Okay.
Yes, but I do love tattoos.
I got two tattoos. The first one is John 16:33. In life you'll have troubles, but take heart. I've overcome the world. Jesus said this to his disciples. For me, it's important because he doesn't say that life's going to be easy, that life's going to be trouble-free, that if you believe in me, everything's going to go your way. He says the exact opposite, that you're going to have troubles, but it's the fact that I've overcome all those things that you can have hope in something that's on the way, which is me, and salvation in my name. The other one is the Lion of Judah, which is on my other wrist, and above it is Hebrew writing that says Lamalek, which means property of the king. So it's a seal, and it just means that I belong to him, and no one can snatch me out of his hand.
I got one on my back. I saw it in some graffiti somewhere, and I just like the shape of it. And I usually get a tattoo when I'm just finished something big. So I got the one on my back when I just finished the movie in Colombia, when I just finished directing that. And it was the last night of shooting in Colombia, and so I got on my back at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and we tattooed till like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And me and my first lady decided that we'd go and get tattoos. It's in Farsi. I think it says, "For every king there is a crown." But it could say Daniel Gillies is a stupid asshole, and I wouldn't know. I've never actually had the courage to ask somebody who can read Farsi to identify it for me. It's got 2 keys. I think I just always liked keys. I think the keys might have been a religious thing. It might have signified Peter's keys, one to the door, a kingdom of heaven, one to the lock behind. But I don't know. I like the keys. That might be say something Freudian and phallic about me. This one was just when I finished playing Elijah, but I don't know what it means. I just liked it.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to finish the panel here. Sorry, everybody. Let's welcome back on stage Candace and Michael.
Oh yeah.
I'm Phoebe.
The whole gang is here.
Whole gang.
Well. Okay, guys, first of all, I wanted to thank all the staff and all the volunteers. You guys have literally served everybody this weekend. You've been incredible. In order for all the people that have sat here and us to have this experience, it wouldn't be possible without you guys, and we know that you don't make any money from this. You literally do it out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take this moment to say thank you for allowing us to do what we do and allowing these people to have that experience, because without you it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Maria. Thank you to security. Thank you to you guys. Merci beaucoup. It's amazing. I hope we're lucky enough to do it again next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys have actually filled my heart so much that I feel like I can give even more when I leave these places. And I feel like if the world could be more like this experience, it'd be a really great place. And just so thank you for your love and your kindness, and you've all inspired me in different ways, all our little conversations and connections, and I'm just very, very grateful to be here. And thank you for supporting our careers as well. Without you, it wouldn't happen, and so you guys give our characters life, and thank you.
This has been such a wonderful weekend. I'm so grateful just to have been a part of a series that people watched at all. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I'm sure we can all relate in that sentiment. But the fact that here we are all these years later and you guys are still talking about it and want to talk about it with us, it's such a joy. Thank you guys so much for loving this show. Thank you for loving all of the shows. Thank you for being so kind this weekend. Thank you for your energy and your smiles and your warmth and your really fun photo ideas. Thank you for the chocolate chip cookie from Michael Trevino earlier.
Thank you very much.
It was really important. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you guys so much. What a wonderful event. It's been a great weekend. Did you guys have fun? Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's all been said. Thank you to KLZ and everybody for attending and being here. And yeah, we've all been doing these conventions for some time now, but for us, I have to say, for Vampire Diaries has been off the air for a bit, and not only being able to see these guys who I haven't seen, but answering these questions is different now because we're not filming right now. We're not in it, so you really have to think like, and it's kind of going down memory lane, and it's a different experience now. It really is, and so I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful, and just thank you for being here this weekend. It's good to see you all.